here's how I've set up my painting space. As you can see, the first thing I put down was a painting mat to protect the table from getting spills or paint on it. I have my cup of water. I've only put a little bit of water in there. I can always switch out the water if it gets too dirty. I have my paints. I could put this right here, and there's a space next to me that somebody could share with me if they are using the same materials. I have my drawing or my painting ready to be painted on. I have a couple of drawing materials. I'm going to show you some watercolor techniques that you can try today with our painting studio. So for the first box, you see that I wrote blending. For blending, I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'm going to wet the paper. Now I'm going to select a few colors that I know mix well together, for example, blue. And as the water is already wet on the paper, the paint should spread on its own. It's going to want to follow or blend into what's already wet. I'm going to take green because green and blue mix well together. They're next to each other on the color wheel. And I'm going to allow that to just kind of mix together. So that's what blending looks like. It's also called wet on wet. Next I have Cran Resist, and many of you have done this technique before. All I did was make a design using crayons, and now I'm going to paint over it, and you can see that the crayons will resist the watercolor paint, and we can still see those colors very brightly. Oil pastel resist, same idea. Take your paints, paint right over your design, and you can see that the oil pastels are resisting the paints. Next we have lifting. For lifting, you're going to make a wash or a blend. I'll do blue and red this time. Blue and red make purple, so you can see it's turning purple. And then while the paint is wet, you're going to take a paper towel and you're going to lift away, kind of like a stamp, and you can create a texture. This is really good for making clouds. All right, the last technique I have is called masking, and you can see I've taken some masking tape and I've just taped over this little square for my example. And now I'm going to take some paint and I'm going to paint over the taped surface. Allow it to dry. But for this demonstration, I'm going to take the tape off right away. And you can see it makes clean lines. Trying to hold the camera and peel the tape off at the same time, wherever I have my tape. And those are 5 watercolor techniques that you can try today.